Ever feel like your banking app is out to get you?
Haha.
You know, like when you just want to do a simple transfer, but it feels like you're trying to, I don't know, disarm a bomb or something.
Right.
Turns out this is a pretty big deal. Like, not just for us trying to navigate these things, but for banks in this whole digital world. So we're diving into banking app UX today.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
We've got some insights from UXDA. They're a whole team of financial UX designers. And they say, get this, 32% of customers will actually ditch a brand they love after just one bad experience.
It's true, and that's from a PwC study, by the way, not just some random statistic.
Wow. Okay, and we're talking about banks here, where trust is like everything.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Because when a banking app is hard to use or confusing, it's not just annoying. It really eats away at that trust. Makes you wonder what else they're messing up.
Right. Like, would you rather trust your money to, I don't know, Fort Knox or that ice cream shop downtown with the face scanning payment app?
That's a good point. There's a balance. Security is paramount, of course.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore the convenience factor either.
Totally. And that seems to be the tightrope these banks got to walk, right?
Exactly. They have to be Fort Knox level secure, but also keep up with, like, all these sleek, easy-to-use apps we use in every other part of our lives.
Speaking of sleek, what about those neobanks? They're popping up everywhere. And a lot of it seems to be like their whole vibe is built around UX.
Definitely. They understand that the app is often the customer's primary interaction with the bank.
It's their first impression, basically.
Exactly. And first impressions matter. Look at Nubank, for example. Their app is incredibly user-friendly, and they've gained millions of customers, especially in Latin America.
So good UX equals happy customers, which equals good business. But there's a catch. You can't just like build an app and then just forget about it, right?
Right. It's not a one-and-done situation. It needs attention. Like a garden, you got to keep tending to it.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so user needs change, technology changes, you got to keep up.
Exactly. Neglect your UX, and you'll see the consequences. Did you know that a staggering 68% of people have abandoned signing up for financial services purely because of a bad online experience?
Whoa, 68%. That's almost 3/4.
It's massive. And the article says those abandoned applications equate to billions, with a B, in lost revenue for the industry.
Wow. And that's not even factoring in the whole PR nightmare that can come with a really bad UX.
Oh, absolutely. In today's world, a bad experience with a banking app doesn't stay quiet. People tell their friends, their family, they go on social media. It can spiral into a PR crisis very quickly.
And those are not easy or cheap to fix.
Exactly.
So it's like a ripple effect. One bad experience can have huge consequences. But good news is the article gives us 5 clear warning signs that your banking app might need a UX makeover.
Yes. And these are really actionable steps that anyone can use. Even if you're not a tech expert, you can look at your own banking app and see if any of these red flags apply.
Red flag number 1, customer feedback. Like, are people ranting and raving online about your app?
Yeah, App Store reviews, comments on social media, those interesting customer service calls, they're all valuable feedback.
Right. Pay attention. It's free data. Okay. Red flag number 2, check out the competition. What are other banks doing? Are they like light years ahead?
Competitor analysis can be super insightful. See what they're doing well, and maybe more importantly, what they're not doing well. It can spark some ideas for your own app.
Steal like an artist, right?
Exactly. Well, maybe not steal, but borrow inspiration.
Okay, red flag number 3, empathy. This one's interesting. The article says to put yourself in the user's shoes. Are they stressed? Confused?
Yeah, this is where thinking about your user personas and their journey is crucial. Are you designing for someone who's tech savvy or someone who might be less familiar with smartphones?
It's all about understanding your audience.
Exactly.
Red flag number 4, usability testing. Get some real people to try out your app and watch them use it. Are they struggling? Clicking the wrong buttons?
It's amazing what you can learn just by observing how people actually use your app.
Yeah, sometimes it's those little things you'd never think of. And finally, red flag number 5 is all about analytics. Don't ignore the data. Look at things like bounce rate. How quickly are people leaving your app?
Right. And session duration, too. Are people spending enough time on your app to actually get things done? Or are they getting frustrated and giving up?
Data doesn't lie. Okay, so we've covered those red flags. Now, what about solutions? The article mentions this really interesting concept called jobs to be done.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So jobs to be done basically means you focus on the user's ultimate goal, their job, not just the individual features of your app.
So instead of thinking about it as like transfer money, you're thinking about it as help me pay my rent on time and make it stress-free.
Exactly. It's about understanding the why behind the user's actions. What are they really trying to achieve?
And when it's done well, it feels effortless for the user. They don't even realize all the thought that went into it.
Right? It just works the way they expect it to. But it doesn't stop at just functionality. We also need to start thinking about emotional design.
Emotional design, huh? So we're talking about making like banking enjoyable. Is that even possible?
I think so. And it's becoming more important, actually. We all know finances can be kind of stressful, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even just checking your balance can give you a little jolt of anxiety sometimes.
True.
But what if your banking app, instead of adding to that stress, could actually be like calming, reassuring?
Oh, interesting. Like it's looking out for you.
Exactly. It's about building trust,
Yeah.
a relationship with the user so they feel supported. And part of that is inclusive design, too.
Right. Making sure everyone can actually use these services no matter what.
Accessibility is huge, of course,
Yeah.
ethically, but also from a business standpoint. Wider range of users equals a bigger market. But inclusive design goes beyond just, making sure everyone can access it. It's about really understanding the needs of all your users, designing an experience that welcomes everyone.
So we've covered a lot, the really high stakes of bad UX, those red flags we should all watch out for, plus some big picture things like this whole jobs to be done idea and now emotional design. Sounds like banks have some homework.
They do, but it's more than just keeping up with the Joneses. This is about survival at this point.
Yeah, for real.
The banks that get it, that bake UX into their whole process, those are the ones that are going to thrive.
It's not just a department. It's like a whole way of thinking.
100%.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it boils down to the experience.
And speaking of experience, that closing thought from the article really stuck with me. That question. Did your banking app spark joy?
Right. Powerful question.
Yeah. It makes you think. After every time you use it, was it a chore? Or were you pleasantly surprised? If it wasn't good, why not? What needs to change?
It's about noticing those little moments of friction, those little annoyances, and saying, okay, how can we smooth this out, make this better?
It's like, you know what they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease or something like that?
Right.
If something's bugging you about your banking app, chances are it's bugging other people too.
Oh, absolutely. And all those little annoyances add up.
Yeah.
Eventually, people just get fed up and start looking for something else.
And these days, there are a lot of something elses out there.
Exactly. So banks really can't afford to ignore UX. It's not just a one-time thing.
Right.
It's got to be this ongoing conversation with their users.
Always listening, always adapting.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not just chasing the latest trends, but really trying to get what their customers need even before they need it.
Yeah, be proactive.
Exactly. And if they can do that,
Yeah.
they can actually turn these everyday banking tasks,
Yeah.
the stuff that feels like a chore,
Right.
into something positive.
Now, that would be impressive.
Right.
So I guess the next time we're all, stuck using our banking apps,
Yep.
take a second. Really pay attention to how it makes you feel.
Yeah, good point.
Is it easy to use? Do you feel like in control of your finances? Or do you just want to, chuck your phone across the room?
Uh-huh. It's a good test.
Because as we've seen today, those little interactions, they really add up, for better or worse.
Big time. It all comes back to trust.
Building that relationship one tap at a time.
I like that. One tap at a time.
All right, well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of banking app UX.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We've covered a lot of ground today. The high cost of bad UX, the importance of empathy and inclusive design.
We even touched on some pretty cool concepts like jobs to be done and emotional design.
That's right, and those are really changing the game for banking. It's clear UX isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's make or break time.
Totally agree. Banks need to get on board or get left behind.
So next time you open that banking app, remember, the experience is everything.
That's right. If it's not sparking joy, maybe it's time to see what else is out there.
Truth. And on that note, we'll catch you next time for another deep dive.